go with another Four Corners Softball Podcast episode. This one is wrapping up the 2024 high school season. A little bit bittersweet because you go so hard toward the end of the regular season, the postseason, and then you get to the finish line and it's just all over. But I want to go ahead and at the start, thank all of you guys for all the support all season, just for making the games compelling, all the times around the ballpark, just a lot of fun to be a part of. So in this episode, we're going to talk about all 7 state tournaments, just kind of give you a little snippet here and there of each one, talk to some folks, some coaches, some players that were there at Choccolocco Park in Oxford, and just kind of hit some of the highlights as we wrap it up. Good thing is, if you're in softball, you know that it really never ends because we're about to dive right into the summer travel ball season. So as you're watching this, more than likely, I'm in Montgomery getting things started with Scout Town this summer, who has been the presenting sponsor for this podcast all spring, and we can't thank them enough. Mark Purvis and Matt Jones putting on some tournaments this summer. I'm going to be at the Scout Town National Tournament in Montgomery this weekend, May 31 through June 2nd. They've got 2 more opportunities after this weekend. If you've got a travel team that wants to be a part of a great tournament, 6-inning games, no time, great exposure. So the other 2, June 21 through 23, will be in Fultondale for the USA Scout Town Showcase. And then wrapping up the summer, July 26 through 28, Scout Town Capital City Showcase back in Montgomery. So visit Scout Town Sports on Facebook. Check them out. And like I said, I'll be down there this weekend getting the summer started. Really excited about that. So big thanks to those guys. So let's talk high school state tournaments. We'll go 7A. We'll go all the way down to 1A. If you want to start in 7A, Hewitt Trustful wins their 4th state title in the last 6 years. Really impressive, especially when you consider the fact that it's really only 5 completed seasons. But they beat Daphne 1-0 in 9 innings in an incredible final. Sarah Phillips, Vic Moten, an incredible pitcher's duel. Let's start with the Hewitt side. They just never quit. They finally started to kind of figure it out. Maybe the spring break tournament this year. And then it's like the first time that they've rolled through the postseason without a loss. And they were able to do that. So let's get some of their post-game reaction.
Hey, I'm Dr. Price. I'm here with the Keeler Honeycutt. How do you feel about winning the state championship?
I feel amazing, great.
So what was going through your mind through that last at-bat?
I just knew that I had to get on base, for real. I knew that my team had my back no matter what.
I like that. Well, congratulations to you and congratulations to the Huskies.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's repeat state champions. Come here. Yep. I'm here. Stop. I'm here with my 3-time in 4 years state tournament MVP, Sarah Phillips. Sarah Phillips, what was going through your mind on the mound?
You know, I was just thinking, like, I'm winning this. I think the first pitch, I was like, we got this. I have the best defense behind me. We have the best offense. Every time I'm up to bat, I just had all the confidence. I didn't have a voice, but I had confidence.
So I don't know how many of y'all know, but there's a thing called Michael Jordan flu game, and that's what Sarah Phillips just did on the mound. Okay, 9 innings, no runs allowed. That's a 9-inning shutout because Sarah Phillips is the best pitcher in the state. And she is the best pitcher in the state.
Chandy Peters is the best sports catcher in the state.
Battery, baby! Battery!
Tell us about Akila's at-bat and what you told her beforehand and all that.
I didn't tell her anything. I just said, like, we talked a little bit before our at-bat before that, and she came out hot the first game, but they kind of got cold the last couple, and what a time to come alive again. So she hit when it mattered, and that's all that mattered. And I couldn't have happened to a better kid because she works her butt off. We are fortunate to have 3 really good pitchers. We have a 4th who also took some innings earlier that, it was a shared thing so that we can keep Sarah fresh. And we didn't have to throw her a ton. I think she threw just a little over 100 pitches yesterday. And so she was able to come out here fresh and get after it. And, that's a testament to all of our other pitchers and our hitters. And, just really proud of all of them together. But always especially proud of Sarah because, I don't know, she's like my child. So.
Daphne takes home the runner-up trophy, but honestly, probably the talk of the state tournament was Vic Moten, the pitcher for Daphne. Just an incredible season, 460-some strikeouts for the year. She was amazing. She pitched all the games in the state tournament for Daphne, helped them come out of the losers bracket and give Hewitt a ball game. She's an Alabama commit, Alabama coach Patrick Murphy was in attendance for that state final, and he's been really impressed. He had to have been, she's been incredible. Really cool for Daphne to get there. They had some really cool moments in the tournament to continue winning after they got put in the losers bracket. A couple of other teams you want to make note of. Hoover, great season for the Bucks. They actually beat Daphne the first time they played, put them in the losers bracket on the first day, but Daphne came back and beat them on the second day. And then Central from Phoenix City, one of the longest win streaks in state history this year. The Red Devils they become a mainstay at state, and they've got a great core. They're losing some big pieces this year, but that program has remained pretty strong the last several years, and they've still got some runway on this run that they've been on. So great year for them. You want to move down to 6A. Athens has to be one of the most improbable state champions that we've seen, at least since I've been around the sport. This team just never gave you any indication all year that they were going to be a state championship team. And then all of a sudden they win the state championship. They went 3-0 on day one of the state tournament. And I love this picture I'll put up here right now. Like the way that they had no expectation of being in this situation. And then they go 3-0 on day one to put themselves in the championship game. And then Hartselle, these two programs, chief rivals, have squared off against each other a ton the last several years. They meet in the state championship game. Hartselle wins the first one. And then Athens wins a thriller in the decisive, if necessary, game to win the state title. And what a run for Athens over the last 3 years, 2 championships and a runner-up finish that came last year in the middle of those. What can you say? Like Camry Townsend and Lexi Thornton are middle schoolers. They will be good pitchers, but this was a growing year and they got thrown into the fire and they both were they just had to, grow. And that they did, especially Camry Townsend towards the end in regionals and state. She really gave Athens the innings that it had to have. And then you look at Lily Lowry, who's not a pitcher. And she came through in some huge moments, got the final 2 innings pitched in that state championship game. Just unbelievable. Morgan Stiles at the top of that order has been getting things done for 4 years now. And then Carly Ennis to win MVP honors for the tournament. That was really, really special because it's just all of this was not expected for this Athens team. And they just kept fighting, kept battling, and there they were. And they won the state championship again, and just a really, really neat moment.
Times in a row. Unbelievable feeling, and just being able to do it with this team and these coaches and this program is just awesome.
What about getting 2 rings?
Oh my gosh, it's insane. I can't believe it's real. I think I'm dreaming. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real.
How ironic is it that when we won state 2 years ago, you graduated the next day, and this day you're graduating
tomorrow with a state championship.
And tell them what you found at JSU during hitting.
We found a ball that says SCR. Let's go!
State championship rep. You say I didn't cry.
Don't let the Eagles get hot.
Don't let them get hot, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Good job. How does it feel to be your first state championship ever?
It feels just amazing.
How does it feel to be like the winning pitcher?
It wasn't me. We had, Camry, and we had Lexi.
Right.
But check it. Let them put it in play. Let them hit it.
Lily stepped up big time. Big time.
I get it from them. I'm not answering that question.
How's it feel since 7th grade and you won state your last year? 2 times though, but you won state your last year.
Pretty amazing. It's a pretty good way to go
She
out.
is a 7th grader in our hearts forever.
But that does nothing to diminish what Hartselle accomplished this year as well. Hartselle has they've had some heartbreaking moments over the last couple of years not being able to get out of regionals. They get past regionals this year with a crazy win over that Athens team in the regional final to advance to state for the first time in a few years. And then they make a great run just to get there. They were in that losers bracket after the first day, and they got back to the championship. They won that first game against Athens and gave it all they had in the second one. So a runner-up trophy for them is, I think, only a sign of things to come for that program and what they've got going on there. So great job by Hartselle. One more shout-out in 6A, Gardendale to finish third. What a run by Kendall White and her group. I don't think many people saw that one coming either. You know, they were like fringe top 10 most of the year in the Sports Writers Association rankings, and boom, they show up and they finish third in the state tournament and gave Hartselle a run in that semifinal game. So Sophie Gant deserves a ton of credit. She pitched her heart out, and she had nothing left after the win over Hillcrest and still managed to hold Hartselle down for as long as she could before Hartselle finally overcame them towards the end. So great job by the Rockets. In Class 5A, Jasper gets it done. They win the state championship. We're about to hear from Brandy Hall, the coach, on getting that title behind Missy Odom's dominant pitching, but also some resilience involved. Also a great season for Moody. They went 3-0 day one and get the runner-up trophy. Phenomenal run from them. And you even look at teams like Alexandria, who didn't quite get all the way there like they have in years past, but they were really good and still put together a great run. Joined now by Jasper head coach Brandy Hall. Coach Hall, you guys win the Class 5A state championship with just a remarkable couple of days. Happened to come through the elimination bracket and to make it all possible and to win twice in the championship game over Moody on that final day. Coach, first of all, thanks for joining me today, and just tell me about the crazy ups and downs of that state tournament you guys had to go through.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you for all that you do for girls athletics. You do a great job of getting it out there, and so people know what's going on. But yeah, it was an incredible couple days. I tell you what, our kids never for a second thought they were out of it. I mean, we had to rebound pretty quickly after the Gulf Shores loss, and really we were down to 6 outs against Beauregard, and we're able to score 4 in the bottom of the 6th to go on to win that game. And from there on, it was just inning by inning, scratch, claw, whatever you could do to figure out how to get to Thursday. And, we won a couple there early and get to Moody. And, the way the first Moody game went, I didn't know if we could take another one of those. It was 16-11. It was like a 3-hour game. But once we got to that second game, the kids knew it was right there in their grasp. And there are not enough words to say to talk about what an incredible job the kids did of just staying together and never like they were needed.
Tell me a little bit about that first game against Moody, the 16-11. A lot of the people know Missy Odom from just being a spectacular pitcher. She's a great basketball player too, and she's been able to carry the load for so much of you guys this season. But in the first inning, she has to come out of the game, but you guys were able to persevere despite not having her at the top of her game in that first game of the day. So what did it say about your team that it wasn't just despite, the challenges there that y'all are able to still keep swinging the bats and persevere through that game?
Well, I tell you what, we kept asking Missy. I mean, she was constantly getting treatment between games. I mean, she threw almost 800 pitches. Right. So we're constantly in communication. How do you feel? Do you think you're okay? And, I think she was tired. I mean, she went out. I mean, there was no doubt we were going to give her the start. And she went out and did all she could do. She was physically and mentally exhausted. And I think when we were able to go to Lily there in that situation, it was huge. She came in and got us out of the inning. I think that really gave us a little shot in the arm, some momentum that, all the other kids saw. She came in, did exactly what we needed her to do. She hadn't thrown since April 29th. So it was incredible that Lily Banks was able to come in and do what she did. And, and then to be able to bring Missy back in the 6th, a couple strikeouts there. She dominated in the 7th. And, when she got to start the next game, she was just a different pitcher. But I'm going to tell you, she is a workhorse. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you put the load on her and she's going to take it, and she's going to tell you every time, Coach, I'm ready to go. I want the ball. And she does. And she went out and she gave us everything she had in the first inning of the Moody game. But, she was physically exhausted. And I think she needed a little bit of time to, get off the mound, get her thoughts together, be able to mentally, get back prepared for where she needed to be. And she did a really good job of being able to come back in when we needed her and be able to seal the deal.
What's it mean to you to be able to get a state championship for the community and also to back up what the girls basketball team was able to do? Just it's been a pretty cool few months at Jasper.
It has, and there's so much support here. And having played here myself, I mean, knowing a lot of people around here that either played when I did or they have kids that are playing now. I mean, it's just the camaraderie of the community and being able to for our team to be able to do it for this entire community. I mean, that is so special, and it's been unbelievable the amount of texts and calls that I've gotten over the last several days, and just people that you wouldn't think know anything about what's going on. They're right there in the know and want to congratulate the team. And, it's a really wonderful feeling especially to get to do this for the first time for the first fast pitch state championship. That's been a really cool experience. And you're right. I mean, doing it right after basketball. I mean, we have 4 basketball players that played softball. So it was pretty good because they had that feeling. When you have that feeling of winning it, there's everything else falls short. So when you have that mentality, it's win or bust. And, hopefully from here on out, all of our kids are going to be able to have that mentality.
All right, we got to talk about Class 4A. I mean, the deepest class all year long, just it was so competitive. But Orange Beach at the top, they come through again. That's a 4th consecutive state championship for Orange Beach. They've been playing for 4 years. 4 years, 4 titles. Pretty dang impressive. And just the way that they did it this year was really impressive because, as we'll hear from Coach Shane Alexander here in a minute, they had to battle through some adverse situations. We talked about Daigle Wilson getting hit in the face the first night of the tournament, and then Orange Beach having to come back from that, and then the next day also being able to get it done. Fresh off a 4th consecutive state championship, what your Orange Beach program's been able to do the last few years since its inception is phenomenal. But I'd love to hear your perspective on. It's never easy. It may seem like on paper you got a great roster, great team, great momentum, but they don't just play them on paper, right? You got to go out and do it.
No, they don't. And I felt like this year was probably the toughest one, as far as the pressure.
Sure.
Everybody outside our little circle, is telling you how good you are, your national rankings, and you're trying to squash all that outside noise, but it's hard. There for a while, everybody's, well, you're going to go undefeated, blah blah blah. So, the softball stuff's easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's dealing with the other stuff that's the challenge. So I felt it a little more this year. That first year was just a surprise. Nobody knew who we were, and so we there's no sneaking up anymore. So you get everybody's best game. You're going to see their best pitcher, which that's what we like, but still it's a lot. So I felt like last year at Oxford, offensively we were hitting it as good as we had peaked at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
This year in Oxford, I don't think we hit it as well. Of course, you had Brooks has got a great pitcher, Houston Academy. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I thought 4A this year was a good classification.
I agree.
As far as competition.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was good tournament, good year, time to rest.
Absolutely. You mentioned the state tournament. Let's start there. I mean, everybody that was there, the game against Houston Academy where your shortstop Daigle Wilson takes a bad hop, and that ends up being a really big moment with her getting hurt, and kind of how were you able to handle that? Because obviously that's got to be a really emotional time when one of your best players goes down and is out for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, first you're worried about her.
Sure.
That was just a 100-mile-an-hour ground ball that took a bad hop. That the first thing is she going to be okay? I wasn't worried about that inning in the next game. I was worried, is she going to be okay? And
right.
Once Coach Nix, our athletic trainer, said, he thought, she was going to be fine. We weren't sure. We still had to take her to the hospital. But, we've had girls, we've moved certain people into certain positions. And so, but losing Daigle, that was, she's a tough piece to replace.
Oh yeah.
With her speed, with her defense, I mean, just everything. So, yeah, we took Katie off a third and put her at short, and then Addie, who was our starting third baseman last year. So, we felt comfortable with Addie and Katie in those positions, but losing Daigle out of the lineup with her speed, because if she gets Walker, she gets to first, it's a double. I mean, you can just say, hey, she's going to end up at second. So, and I think that was a big part of our team this year is we had a lot of team speed.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's courtesy runners or pinch runners, but losing that going into the championship game, that was, and then typical Daigle. I think we left the hospital. She left there about 1:30 that night.
Yeah.
And and we got up at 9 to go eat breakfast, and she's out there with the team ready to go, and
Mm-hmm.
and she told me, she said, "No, I can't see out of my eye, but maybe I can slap, or maybe I can courtesy run." And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely not, Daigle. Your tournament's over with." But yeah, I was proud of the team. They were responding. They kind of rallied around Daigle.
Sure.
Daigle was, she was voted one of the team captains this year, so that kind of what she brings to our team. So kind of rallied around that, and it was good to see. But she looked like she went 9 rounds with Mike Tyson the next morning. But I seen her. What's today? Friday. I seen her Wednesday, and she looks old Daigle. So
Yeah.
she's good to go again. So
Yeah, no, that was great to see her the day after all that, and in good spirits and ready to cheer on the team. That was really cool to see. You mentioned the pressure and the outside expectations and all that. Kind of take me through so you guys lose one game this year, and it's in the championship of the Hoover Classic in late April, and a Hazel Green team that they've had a great day that day, and really good team. So what was your message at that point? Was it something that is it kind of a monkey off the back type of deal where there's a lot of pressure that's relieved from losing a game, or like would you kind of use that?
Yeah, the coaches, we had talked about it prior to Thursday. We went up to Hewitt to play Hewitt and Plainview, and we had talked amongst our coaches, and we said, we're probably going to take one on the chin this weekend. Probably not going to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody was talking about the undefeated, and I've looked through the record books. I don't think it's been done. I know some of them had maybe 1 loss, 2 losses, but we knew we weren't going to go undefeated. There's just too many good teams out there, and so when it happened, it was after that game, we talked to the girls, and yeah, they were disappointed they lost, but they felt relief.
Sure.
And so that was kind of good to see. And they were, we had one bad inning where just things, the wheel came off the carriage, but I think they took it as this is a positive and not a negative, and and kind of just went from there. So I think it was a good thing. Hazel Green, they were absolutely on fire that day, and that pitcher she had that drop ball working, but yeah, it was I think it was good for us. I don't know. That's just people keep saying, they said something to me the other day. I said, well, you guys were 1 inning away from going perfect, and I was like, yeah, we're not worried about that record. We want that blue trophy at the end. So if that helped us get that blue trophy, I'm all for it. So
I want to give you a big shout out to Brooks. This program has been on the rise for the last few years. I mean, the last 3 years has been a huge stepping stone process for this program. And, they built up, they got the state tournament, they get the state tournament again, do a little better. And then this year they got the runner-up trophy. And I think, honestly, it stung a little bit more for them to lose that state championship game because they gave Orange Beach all they could handle. I mean, Orange Beach only won the game 2-1. I mean, Brooks was right there, had the tying run on third base in the seventh inning, and they were right there. So stung in the moment. I'm imagining that once you get a little further away from it, they can realize just how impressive it was for them to be able to do that.
We're in Oxford today, and it is, in fact, not sun shining out here. It's very cloudy, maybe about 60 degrees, maybe, with the high wind blow.
About 10 miles per hour.
It's game day, though! Freaking go, son.
Slight showers.
Braley is sinking in the mud.
Yes.
And you even want to take a look at all these other teams. I mean, Houston Academy, tremendous team. Brea Hodges, phenomenal career. And there's several other players that have had phenomenal careers at Houston Academy as well, that are going to go on to do great things and prove just how good that team has been the last few years. Madison County, another team that made a great run. I mean, you talk about Grayson Spicer and Chloe St. Clair and Marion Gamble that really carried that pitching staff, and then Allie Erie and Livy Huter and all these other bats. Madison County, I mean, in any other classification is probably first or second, but they just were in the deepest one. And then Prattville Christian, Cherokee County, Curry, Northside, just an unbelievable depth of teams in 4A. So that was fun to watch. You hate that it only had to work out to where only one wins, but great stuff there. But you want to talk about 3A. 3A was the class of the dominant pitchers. You start with Opp, who wins their first in program history. We'll hear from Coach David McVay here in a minute. But Reese Cawley, MVP of the tournament, amazing. Like, she pitched phenomenally both days. Hit a home run in the championship game that kind of sealed the deal, which was really cool to see. And then you look at all these impressive pitchers. Kat Schreiber from Madison Academy has got a few more years, and she's going to continue to be really good. Emily Needham from St. James, same way. She's got a few more years, and it's going to continue to be really, really good. Kennebeth Lacey from Winfield, one of the best hitters and pitchers in the classification this year. Cheyenne Parker from Plainview. Plainview's the runner-up team, and Cheyenne won over 20 games in the circle this year. Savannah Smith from Piedmont, one of the best players in the classification, did so much for that Piedmont team to get them back there. And Izzy Warwick from Alabama Christian, just amazing, amazing leaders on these teams in Class 3A. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Well, I tell you, these girls deserve a ton of credit. When we walked off Jacksonville State's field last year, there was a look in their eye that they weren't satisfied with that, even though that being state runner-up had only happened one time in our school history. They were that was not their goal that they had set out to reach, and they showed up ready to work from day one when we got started. They never lost that fire. They never lost that desire to work hard and to get to the level that it was going to take for us to win it all. Because at the end of the day, we knew that we were still going to have Plainview sitting there looking at us. And we remembered what they had done to us the year before. With the same exact team, they had two seniors, we had two seniors. Yep. Obviously last year they outperformed us, at a much higher they performed at a much higher level than we did. So my girls knew what they had to get to, and they were just determined to get there, and it worked out to where we did.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It was really cool to see your team achieve that because, you mentioned the year before. So how much of a building process has this been, over the last couple of years? Like, obviously this wasn't just a team that showed up day one of this school year and was like, all right, we're ready to go compete. This seems like something that's kind of been in the works for a few years.
Well, it has been. I tell you, the group of seniors this year, I brought them to the varsity level as seventh graders. Mm-hmm. So we knew early on that they were going to be a special group. And we felt like that if we could build a team with that being our core, then we were going to be successful, 3 or 4 years. And we have been. I tell you, the seniors before this group done a great job of leading us, to the state championship game for the first time in softball history. I do feel like that platform at that particular time was a little big, for us. We weren't quite, I didn't quite ready have them quite ready, to play on that level. So I think it is a building process. Obviously, when we got there this year, even though we played on the signature field there at Chocolaca Park, the stage wasn't too big. I never looked into their eye and thought, oh boy, we're in trouble again because we're not ready for this stage. And obviously, the way we performed, obviously showed that it wasn't too big for us this year.
Take a look at Class 2A. Wicksburg, dominant. Absolutely dominant. They outscored their opponents 42-0 in 4 games. They were the runner-up last year to Hatton, and they came back stronger this year, won the thing. I think they've got 2 pitchers, Natalie Cole and Ellie Cox, that probably are 2 of the best in the class. They were both equally incredible all season long. And you even look at Thorsby, who was a runner-up, McKinley Turner, amazing season, amazing tournament. So Class 2A was really good. Wicksburg just ran away with it there at the end. All right, now with me, we've got Wicksburg coach Josh Cox. Coach, congratulations on winning the state championship. Just tell me a little bit about that state tournament run. I mean, you guys were dominant in every way, didn't allow a run. Just how are you guys able to do that?
Our girls, that's the goal they set for themselves all year. Last year we got to the game and we forced the if game, and we really felt like we ran out of gas. And I think we gave up 7 earned runs and lost 12-10. Yep. A couple of the girls made a comment that nobody will pile up in front of us again. And they kind of set the goal that night that we're getting back there and we're winning this thing. We just have a great group of girls, that some leaders, even, we have young leaders and old leaders throughout the team. And they just kind of held each other to a standard and worked their butts off all year. And to be honest with you, I did not expect a run like that in the state tournament. I think it's 42 runs to 0. Yep. We just have really good pitching, and, we have some good sticks all the way through the lineup. I think we had 11 different girls hit home runs this year. So it's hard to pitch around anybody. And, we just have a great group of girls that work hard all year to get better. And that was just a goal they set for themselves.
How much do you think that kind of factored into it of walking off that field? That late night if game last year where Hatton is able to come out with a win there. Just do you kind of feel that walking off the field that hey, this group is probably going to try to get back here and not feel that again?
Well, we talked about it verbally. We got to get back here. That we felt like that. Nothing against Hatton, but we felt like we had the better team. Which they made some mistakes too, but we felt like if we didn't make the errors that we made, that we win it last year. And they actually verbally talked about it on the bus before we ever left the park, that we're going to get back there and we're going to win this thing.
Now, how do you kind of approach a season? Is it one of those things where you try to schedule teams above your weight class, so to speak, and challenge and use that as kind of a measuring stick to make a run in the postseason? Just kind of tell me about the journey of this team from day one.
Well, we set the goal at the beginning of the year to play the toughest schedule we could play. I actually learned that from Hatton's coach last year. I talked to him, they had quite a few losses and they won state championship. And he said, well, I had to learn to lose, coach. And that's he said, how many times, like my daughter's a pitcher. He said, how many times you bring your daughter in when you're up by 1 run to close the game out and you didn't let that number 2 pitcher or number 3 pitcher either win it or lose it for you and get that experience. And I said, well, quite a few times in order to win, and this year, I think, we let some more of our pitchers grow up. Really, Ellie and Natalie just had an unbelievable year pitching staff wise, but that's kind of the approach we took to start the year. Every year our girls set a Bible verse for themselves. This year it's Colossians 3:23. And I don't know if you know Coach Barb Sherwood. She came in and did a little team building exercise with us preseason, and had the girls get kind of a motto for the year, and their motto was finish. And they put it on everything. It was on our helmets, #finish. It was on everything we put on Twitter. You probably saw it at the bottom, everything they post on Twitter. Uh, and that's kind of just been the motto all year is finish. I really didn't feel like we were out of any game. I thought we had a chance to win any game, but
So first softball state title in program history. What's that meant to the school and to what you guys have been trying to build there?
It's the first state title ever here in every
Really?
sport.
Wow.
It ain't just, everybody says softball, but it's every sport. There's nobody ever won one here. I'm the head football coach and athletic director too, so I'm shifting gears right now. Just got done my summer workout football schedule, but it just changes the vibe. I mean, everybody around here. I mean, I've had 2 kids that wasn't going to play football that came to me and said, "Coach, I want to play for you." I mean, I guess it's got a lot to do probably winning the state title, you know. But
And finally, in Class 1A, Skyline gets it done finally. They have been building towards this. Slade Bellamy, the head coach, said they have been building towards this for so long, and they get it done this year. And it's so cool that it's in the senior year of the ones like Olivia Treese and Pearl Bellamy and Jayla Ross and a few others that have been with this program for 5-6 years in some cases. Just really cool to see them be able to get it done. They had a tremendous season. You knew all along they were kind of in the driver's seat there. All right, now we got the coach of the Class 1A state champion Skyline Vikings, Slade Bellamy. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, finally, you guys get that state championship. You've been knocking on the door of it for a few years now. So what was that like to have that moment with your girls and be able to kind of finally get to that mountaintop with them?
Well, like you said, it's been a long time coming. Everybody said you get there enough, you'd eventually win it. And I'm thinking, well, how many times is enough? The 2 runner-up finishes in 21, 22, and getting beaten in the semis by Leroy in 23 to get that 3rd place finish was just I won't say it was disheartening, but it was just kind of disappointing. The girls worked so hard that season. The schedule that we played, well, the last several years, the schedule we played, trying to prepare us. Leroy, your Brantleys, South of Mars, Maplesville, and there's some other teams I probably failed to mention, but we know that to compete with a lot of those schools that's there in year out, we have to play a really rigid schedule. And going into this season, we scheduled pretty hard again, and we dropped several games. I think we end up losing 12 or 14 games. I can't remember. And some we should have won, and some we probably should have lost. Some of the teams we played, but going back down there this year, the girls just had a different feel about them. They had a mission, and when the regionals was over, well, we went into regionals. Regionals has always been a good time for us. We've usually hit the ball well, score a lot of runs, and gave up very few. And I said, we need a state tournament like we do regionals. We need to go in and we need to hit the ball, get some runs, don't make our pitching work too hard, and just have that same type of tournament. And I felt like the girls took it to heart, and we got down there. When the regionals was over, and we seen we was gonna have if we won the first game, because you still got to play the game. You can't take nobody lightly down there, because they beat somebody to get there.
Yep.
Regardless who it is. And we knew we was gonna get Brantley probably the second game, and that's always been our, not necessarily Brantley per se our nemesis, but that first or second game. Some reason we just could never find a way to get both those games out of the way and get to that 3rd game on that day,
right?
And not play a loser's bracket. Loser's bracket is just, especially when you don't have pitching, and you try to rely on 1 or 2, and they're just exhausted. We wanted to be that team getting over to the signature field and watching those teams walk in, or the team walk in that had been playing all day,
right?
Because we've been there.
Yep.
And I said, if we can do that, I think we really got a legitimate shot at probably winning it. And like I said, the girls came out. The pregame speech wasn't no different any other time, other than a few, I guess you can call them inspirational quotes, or I had several crying. I had several past players crying. And hey, it's not time to cry. I said, we got a job to do. Let's go out and do it. And everybody said, hey, we're going to get this. And I'm a little apprehensive about it. I wasn't going to put the cart before the horse. And um, we went out there, and that first inning, I think another thing that helped us is we got to be home team. In the past, Coach Hawthorne, she really lobbied for the person that's undefeated to be the home team on that first game. And I think that's right, because you've earned it. You shouldn't have to flip for that game. And, in the past, we haven't been in that situation, and this time we was. And come out, get 3 outs from them, and then we come back in, and next thing I know, we've got, 7 runs, 8 runs, whatever it is. And I think that sort of took the pressure off everybody.
Sure.
Especially the pitching. The defense could just relax, make plays. And I don't think we had any errors. I think we played an errorless ball game, which is kind of unheard of. Most of the time, you usually got 1 or 2. So I think it was great for them, great for the girls, great for the program, the community, the school. Just, I guess, a weight off their shoulders, per se.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your perspective on the the way that a program is at the 1A level, because if you look at maybe 6 and 7A, a lot of the contributors on those teams, they get a couple of years, 2-3 years, if they're good enough to crack the lineup. But I mean, this senior group you had, I mean, you look at Olivia Treese and your daughter Pearl and Jayla Ross, like they've been big contributors for a long, long time. And so what is that like, that when you see them in middle school, like you've got several years to move them along, and they've got to contribute pretty early to that varsity team?
Yeah, that was just they've just been an exceptional group. Liv came here in the 8th grade. I wish we'd had her, even when we was playing younger. But like you said, Pearl and Jayla and Brinley and Blakely and Sage, and Kana played some early young, and she took a break. Trying to think, a couple more younger girls that's played, but we've had them since 7, 8U, and when they come on, the program really wasn't that big. Aid, my oldest, graduated in 21. When she was in the 7th grade, we had 11 kids, 7 through 12. That was it. And we slowly started building, and those younger girls, when they were in the 6th grade playing, they could see that they were going to have opportunity. Now, did they play like varsity players in 7th grade? No, they didn't. And that I'd been coaching assistant, with Kirby and Thompson 2 years prior to taking the head coaching job. And, those girls matured a lot. I'd say in those first 3 years, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. But, they've also helped me. I've changed quite a bit from the time I had them, not just coaching wise, but the mentality, how to interact with them, what they react to, what they don't react to, and they've helped me just as much as they've helped. I mean, as I've helped them in the program or softball and in general. But having that young group and seeing what we could do and build, and we told them when they started playing in 9th grade, and when it was mainly them. Now they got some reps in 8th, quite a bit, but when they towed the line in 9th grade, when they was getting a lot of reps and a lot of playing time, we told them, if you do what you need to do, we're going to have a chance to win a state championship. And I mean, that's far fetched, because I think there's 63 or 64 1A teams in the state, and that's a lot of competition. But they believed in it. They worked hard. They played the schedule, and they just kept getting better and better and better. And of course, some of them still play some travel ball, and that's another big thing. It's you've got those athletes out there that can take a break from May to January and really not miss a beat. But then a lot of others, they got to put the work in, the summer, the fall, and it's hard to penalize kids that play 50, 60, 80 games from May to the next January and travel, just trying to sharpen their skills and get better at the discipline they're in. But those 7 or 8 girls, it's not taking nothing away from what the girls prior to them that helped build the program, because they built the foundation. But these girls right here have really set the bar of what it takes, the hard work, the practice. I mean, everything. And I can't say enough about those kids. It's, that's been through they've been through the fire, I guess you say.
And then Leroy, back-to-back runner-up trophies, which, like we talked about with Brooks, it stings in the moment. But talking to Kenneth Baggett, the assistant coach, after the game, and he's like, man, this is so hard to get here. And they're really going to realize, once you get a little time away from it, just how strong back-to-back runner-ups is in 1A. So big shout out to Leroy and Tabitha Baggett, who is retiring following this state tournament run. She's been battling some health issues over the past couple of years, and is going to put their personal life, put her family first. And she says it's time to step away and kind of change up some priorities. But it has been an amazing run for them, and to be able to get to know them a little bit has been pretty special. So that rounds up the Class 1A through 7A state tournaments. Once again, just can't thank all of you enough for following along all year. The green screens every night, definitely a labor of love. It's so cool seeing all these names of people that you get to know over the years doing really cool things, and being able to give somewhat of a platform is what that's about. Same with the Bomb Squad. The Bomb Squad is so much fun. You just get all those pictures sent to you and tagged and whatever, and love sharing those. So all that kind of stuff. Everybody who welcomes me at these ballparks, none of this would be possible if, nobody wanted me to show up at a ballpark. So thank you. Huge thank you to everybody who makes the season so much fun. I encourage you to watch the Women's College World Series that's going on right now in Oklahoma City. If you haven't been, you should definitely go someday. The sport is just continuing to grow. It's awesome. That's why this podcast has gotten any views at all, aside from Jeff Benson just kind of going crazy. But just can't thank you guys enough. If you see me at a ballpark this summer, we'll still be doing some fun stuff. So come find me, come say hello, and we'll just have a good time. So that's all we got for the spring. The summer content will look a little bit different with the travel tournaments, but we'll still be around. So thanks for watching.